everyone, and welcome back. Are you ready to dive into something pretty fascinating?
Always.
Okay, awesome. Today, we're going to be taking a close look at how India is trying to completely change their air combat abilities.
Yeah.
It's a really ambitious push.
It is.
And we've got some really incredible source material on HAL's CATS program.
That's right.
For anyone who needs a reminder, CATS stands for Combat Air Teaming System.
Yeah.
And it's all happening against the backdrop of India's Air Force facing a shortage of squadrons.
Yeah, that's a key part of this.
So today, we're going to unpack not just what this CATS program is,
Right.
but we're also going to look at WHY. It's so important for India's defense strategy
Absolutely.
and what this could mean for the future of air warfare globally.
Yeah, that's the really interesting part, isn't it? It's not just about India.
Exactly. This has implications for everyone.
This is
a big deal.
A potential game changer for sure.
So get ready. It's going to be a wild ride.
Buckle up. This is cutting edge stuff we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, just to set the stage,
Yeah,
India is taking a pretty bold approach with this CATS program.
I'd say so, yeah.
It's essentially creating a network of unmanned systems.
Lots of them.
Yeah, and these unmanned systems are going to be working alongside their traditional fighter jets.
Like a team, a well-oiled machine.
Right. It's like something you'd see in a sci-fi movie, you know?
It really is, yeah.
But this is actually happening right now.
It is. It's pretty incredible to see it unfolding.
We've even got reports of HAL, that's Hindustan Aeronautics Limited.
Right.
They're already doing engine ground runs on their CATS Warrior drone.
That's a big step.
Oh, yeah, huge milestone.
Getting closer to actually seeing these things in the air.
Yeah, and I know it's tempting to just get lost in the wow factor of it all.
Yeah, it is.
But before we do that, let's maybe take a step back
Okay.
and understand WHY India is even going down this road in the first place.
Yeah, let's look at the why behind the wow, right?
Exactly, because you can't really understand how significant CATS is unless you first get why the Indian Air Force is facing the challenges that it is.
Right.
Like right now, they're supposed to have 42 squadrons,
That's the goal, yeah.
but they only have 31 that are operational.
And that gap has some very serious implications.
Okay, so that's a pretty big difference.
It is. It's a significant shortfall.
But 42 squadrons, like, why is that the magic number? It seems so specific.
Well, it's a goal that goes back to the 1980s.
Wow, really? That far back?
Yep, stemming from the idea of a potential two-front war
Okay, against who?
against Pakistan and China.
So they were preparing for the worst case scenario.
Exactly.
But that was decades ago.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Hasn't technology kind of changed how we think about this kind of stuff?
It has, yeah. Modern jets are so much more capable now than they were back then.
So maybe you don't need as many.
Well, that's the debate, isn't it? I mean, in theory, yeah, you could do more with less,
Right.
but
But there's always a...
there's always a but. And in this case, it's that India's facing delays in getting new aircraft.
So even if the new ones are better, they don't have enough of them yet.
Exactly.
And a lot of their current fleet is, well, not exactly new.
Let's just say seasoned.
Seasoned, diplomatically put.
Yeah, they've seen some action.
Okay, so even if they've got these amazing new jets, this squadron shortfall is still a big problem, right?
It is, it leaves them vulnerable.
And that's where this CATS program comes in.
That's exactly where it comes in.
It's not just about adding more jets to the mix.
It's about changing the game.
Right.
It's about fundamentally changing the way air combat is done.
That's what I find so fascinating about all of this.
It's mind-blowing, really.
Yeah, they're not just building more planes, they're building this whole family of unmanned systems.
Like a whole new species of aircraft.
Yeah, drones that can work with the fighter jets, each playing a very specific role.
It's a force multiplier.
Okay, love that term, force multiplier.
Instead of just relying on pilots in jets, they're adding these unmanned platforms to do more.
So they can extend their reach, do things that would be too risky for a human pilot.
Exactly. Reduce the risk to their pilots. That's a big one.
Okay, let's break down this CATS family a bit more.
All right, let's do it.
First up, we've got the CATS Warrior.
The star of the show.
This is being called a loyal wingman drone.
A faithful companion in the skies.
It's got stealth capabilities, A&D, internal weapon bays,
It's a whole package.
so it can sneak up on the enemy and hit him hard.
Exactly. It's designed to be a real game changer.
Now, the CATS Warrior, imagine a fighter jet like the Taihas LCA.
Okay, got it.
This jet is acting like the mothership, and it's controlling multiple of these CATS Warrior drones.
So it's like a pack of wolves, the leader in the pack.
Right, and they can fly alongside the mothership, they can provide cover, they can engage enemy aircraft.
And they can even carry out strikes on their own.
They're not just following along, they're taking initiative.
That's right. They're not just passive observers.
Get this. Our sources are saying this drone can hit targets up to 700 kilometers away.
That's incredible range.
I mean, that's like hitting a target in another city without the pilot even leaving their own airspace.
That's right. It completely changes the dynamics of warfare.
Talk about a strategic advantage.
It's a game changer, no doubt about it.
And then we've got the CATS Hunter.
Ah, yes, the Hunter.
This one's designed more like a stealthy, air-launched cruise missile.
Right, it's all about precision strikes.
So kind of like those SCALP missiles that the Rafale jets use.
Yeah, similar concept.
But even stealthier and more advanced.
That's the idea, to make it even more effective.
So we can get in, hit the target, and get out without being detected.
That's the goal. Minimize the risk.
And this one's designed for those deep strikes, hitting those high-value targets far behind enemy lines.
Taking out the enemy's key assets.
And again, without putting a pilot at risk.
That's right, minimizing casualties.
Okay, so we've got the stealthy wingman, we've got the long-range missile.
What else could they possibly have?
Oh, but wait, there's more.
Of course there is.
They've also got these ALFAS swarm drones.
Now things are getting really interesting.
These are swarms of tiny but super deadly drones that they launch from pods attached to the fighter jets.
It's like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It really is.
Imagine a cloud of these things, all coordinated, all attacking.
A single Terras fighter jet can carry 12 of these drones, and the larger Su-30 MKI can carry 16.
That's a lot of firepower.
It's a lot of drones, that's for sure.
And they can do some serious damage.
So it's not just one big punch, it's like 1,000 little stings all at once.
Exactly, they overwhelm the enemy's defenses.
Okay, but what are these swarms actually doing during a mission? Like, what's their purpose?
They can be used for a whole bunch of different things, both air-to-air and air-to-ground.
So they're versatile.
Very versatile, yeah.
They can hit radar installations, communication systems, even soldiers on the ground.
They can target pretty much anything.
And they can also be used as a distraction, right?
That's right. They can draw enemy fighters away from the mothership or other important assets.
Yeah. So it's not just about brute force.
No, it's about strategy.
It's about using them cleverly to confuse and disrupt the enemy.
Exactly. It's about making the enemy's life as difficult as possible.
Okay, so we've got the stealthy wingman, the long-range missile, and the swarm of attack drones.
A formidable trio.
What else is in this CATS program? Is there anything else?
Well, they also have something called the CATS Infinity pseudo-satellite.
Oh, yeah, I almost forgot about that one.
It's easy to forget with all the other exciting stuff going on.
Pseudo-satellite, what does that even mean?
It means it's not a real satellite, but it acts like one.
Okay, that sounds straight out of a science fiction novel.
It kind of is, but it's real.
So what is it exactly?
It's essentially a solar-powered drone.
Okay, solar-powered, that's interesting.
And it's designed to fly really high, like 70,000 feet.
Wow, that's above most commercial air traffic, right?
Way above, it's up there with the U-2 spy plane.
So it's got a great view.
An incredible view, and it can stay up there for a long time, up to 90 days.
Hold on, 90 days? That's like 3 months.
Yep. It's essentially like having a drone satellite.
So you get the benefits of a satellite without having to launch one into space.
Exactly. It's much cheaper and more flexible.
Okay, so what's the main job of this drone satellite then?
Surveillance, it's all about keeping an eye on the enemy.
So it's gathering intelligence, tracking movements, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It's providing real-time information to the commanders on the ground.
So it's like a constant eye in the sky.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so it's got the stealthy wingman, the long-range missile, the swarm of attack drones, and now the eye in the sky.
They've thought of everything.
It's a pretty impressive lineup, wouldn't you say?
It's very impressive, yeah.
But let's not just focus on the cool factor.
Let's get serious for a moment.
What are the strategic implications of all this? Why is India putting so much effort into this CATS program?
Well, there are a few key reasons.
Okay, let's hear them.
First and foremost, it aligns with their push for Atmanirbharta.
Now, that's a word I don't hear every day.
It's Hindi for self-reliance.
Okay, self-reliance. So they want to be able to defend themselves without relying on other countries.
Exactly, especially when it comes to defense technology.
That makes a lot of sense. Being able to build your own advanced weapon systems is a huge strategic advantage.
It means you're not dependent on anyone else.
You're not beholden to anyone else's timelines or restrictions.
Exactly, you're in control of your own destiny.
And then, of course, there's the obvious benefit of keeping their pilots safer.
Right, that's a huge priority for any Air Force.
Using unmanned systems for the really risky missions.
The missions where you wouldn't want to send a human pilot.
Exactly. It just makes sense.
It does. It's a smart move.
But it goes even deeper than that, right?
Oh, yeah. Much deeper.
CATS could really boost India's deep strike capabilities.
That's right. They could hit targets hundreds of kilometers away without risking a single pilot.
That's got to change how other countries think about engaging with them, right?
It does. It changes the whole calculation.
And then there's all the intelligence gathering they can do with that CARSS Infinity.
That's right. Constant surveillance.
Having that real-time information about what's happening on the ground.
That's invaluable. It gives you such an edge.
It really does. And we haven't even talked about secure communication.
Oh, right. That's a crucial part of all this.
All these different platforms need to be able to talk to each other, share information securely.
Absolutely. If the communication breaks down, the whole system falls apart.
It's like they're creating their own mini Air Force.
That's a great way to put it.
And they're not just talking about it, they're building it.
They're making it happen.
They've already had successful demonstrations of this CASS concept.
They've shown that it can work.
Back in 2021, they even showed off a CAT simulator at Aero India.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive.
They were using the Tejas Max cockpit as the command center, controlling multiple drones, coordinating attacks. It was like a glimpse into the future.
It was a sneak peek at what's to come.
And it seems like they're planning to showcase the actual CAS Warrior drone at Aero India in 2025.
That's right. Mark your calendars.
This is a program that's moving from concept to reality really fast.
It's moving at lightning speed.
It's a fascinating case study in how technology is reshaping military strategy.
It's a textbook example.
And it's not just happening in India, right?
No, this is a global trend.
All over the world, unmanned systems are becoming more sophisticated, more capable, more common.
It's the future of warfare.
So what does this mean for the future of air combat?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Are we going to see a world where drone battles are the norm, where human pilots are a thing of the past?
So those are the questions we need to be asking.
And those are the questions we'll be exploring further.
Stay tuned.
Okay, so we're back and ready to dig a little deeper into the nuts and bolts of this CATS program.
Let's get technical.
Before the break, we were talking about how India's really pushing the limits with these unmanned systems.
Right. It's pretty remarkable what they're doing.
So let's zero in on one of the stars of this whole program.
Okay.
The CATS Warrior.
The loyal wingman.
What makes this drone so special? Because it's got to be more than just stealth and weapons, right?
It definitely is.
There's more to it than meets the eye.
Yeah, there's a lot going on under the hood, so to speak.
So let's break it down.
All right, let's do it.
Stealth, obviously, that's a big part of it.
Huge, yeah.
The CATS Warrior is designed so that it's really hard for enemy radar to pick it up.
Right. It's got a low radar cross-section.
Okay, so it can basically slip past enemy defenses undetected.
That's the idea, yeah, to make it as invisible as possible.
But what about its offensive capabilities? What can this stealthy wingman actually do?
Well, can do a lot of damage, that's for sure.
Give me the details.
It's got internal weapon bays.
Which not only makes it stealthier.
Right, no bulky weapons hanging off.
Yeah. But it also lets it carry a variety of different weapons.
That's right, it's very versatile.
So we're talking missiles, bombs.
All of the above.
The whole shebang.
Pretty much, yeah. It's a real multi-role platform.
Okay, but what kind of firepower are we actually talking about here? What can this thing carry?
Well, it's designed to carry precision-guided munitions.
Okay, that sounds serious.
It is serious stuff. We're talking smart anti-airfield weapons and next-generation close combat missiles.
Okay, hold on. You're going to have to slow down with the acronyms.
Sorry about that. I got a little carried away.
SAAWs and NGCCMs. Break those down for me.
All right, SAAWs. Those are glide bombs designed to take out important targets on the ground.
Like what kind of targets?
Things like enemy airfields, radar installations, command centers, the stuff that makes their military tick.
Okay, so basically it can cripple the enemy's infrastructure.
Exactly, and the really cool thing about SIAWs is that they can be launched from a long distance.
So the CATS Warrior can stay out of range of enemy defenses.
That's right. It can hit them before they even know what's happening.
That's got to be a huge tactical advantage.
Oh yeah, it completely changes the game.
Okay, what about those NGCCMs? What are those all about?
Those are a different beast altogether.
Okay, tell me more.
Those are designed for close-in dogfights, when you're going head-to-head with enemy aircraft.
So this is like air-to-air combat.
Exactly. And these NGCCMs are super maneuverable, super fast, super accurate.
So it's not just a bomber. It can actually hold its own in a dogfight.
Oh, yeah. It's a real all-rounder.
That's pretty impressive for a drone.
It is. It shows how far the technology has come.
And remember, it's not operating alone.
Right. It's got backup.
It's working with that manned fighter jet, the mothership.
Their team.
Okay, so I'm picturing this. You've got the Tejas fighter jet. That's the mothership.
Right, yep. That's the brain of the operation.
And it's got a couple of these CATS warriors flying alongside.
Like a pack of wolves always watching each other's backs.
They're heading into enemy territory. The CATS warriors are providing cover, taking out those key targets with their SAs. And then, if any enemy fighters show up,
they're ready to rumble.
They're ready to unleash those NGCCMs and take them down.
It's a coordinated attack, a real show of force.
It's like a modern-day air cavalry charge, but with drones.
That's a great analogy.
It's really amazing to think about.
It is. It's like something out of a movie.
And that's just one part of this CATS family.
Right. We haven't even talked about the swarms yet.
Oh yeah, those ALFAS swarm drones.
Those are a whole other level of awesome.
They really are. They seem like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
They do, don't they?
This whole idea of drone swarms is still relatively new.
It is. It's a very recent development.
But it seems like everyone's paying attention.
Oh yeah. Militaries around the world are scrambling to catch up.
It's the future, right?
It definitely seems that way.
So the idea is to overwhelm the enemy with a bunch of small, inexpensive drones.
Strength in numbers.
Right, so it's not about the power of any individual drone, it's about the collective force of the swarm.
Exactly. It's a different kind of warfare.
And you can launch these things from pods attached to the fighter jets.
That's right. They're like little hornets' nests that you can just unleash on the enemy.
A single Tejas can carry 12 of these drones, and the Su-30 MKI can carry 16.
That's a lot of drones.
It's a whole lot of drones. But what are they actually doing during a mission? What's their role?
Well, they can do a lot of different things.
Okay, like what?
They can target enemy radar installations, communication systems, even soldiers on the ground.
So they're pretty versatile.
Oh yeah, very versatile.
They can basically take out anything.
Pretty much, yeah, they're a real threat.
And they can also be used as a distraction, right? We talked about that earlier.
That's right, they can draw the enemy's attention away from the important stuff.
So it's not just about brute force.
No, it's about being smart.
It's about using these swarms strategically to disrupt and confuse the enemy.
Exactly, make them second guess themselves, make them hesitate.
That's really interesting because it's not just about firepower, it's about messing with the enemy's heads.
Psychological warfare is a big part of it.
Okay, so we've covered the stealthy wingman, the swarm of attack drones.
And we can't forget about the pseudo-satellite.
Oh yeah, that CATS Infinity, the drone that can stay up there for 3 months.
That's a real game changer.
I gotta admit, that one really blew my mind.
That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It is, so tell me more about it.
All right, so the CATS Infinity is a high-altitude, long-endurance platform.
Okay, that sounds very technical.
It is, but basically,
yeah.
It means it can fly really high and stay up there for a long time.
And it's powered by the sun.
Right, solar powered, so it's super efficient.
So it can fly at 70,000 feet above commercial air traffic, above most weather systems.
It's got a clear view of everything.
It's like having a drone satellite.
That's a good way to put it.
But you don't have to actually launch anything into space.
Exactly, it's much cheaper and easier to deploy.
Okay, I get it, but what's its main purpose? What's it actually doing up there?
Its main job is surveillance.
So it's like a spy in the sky?
Exactly. It's got advanced sensors, including synthetic aperture radar.
Synthetic aperture radar, that sounds fancy.
It is, but basically, it allows the drone to create really detailed images of the ground.
Even if there's cloud cover?
Even through clouds, it can see everything.
So the enemy can't hide?
Nope, they're always being watched.
That's pretty impressive.
It is. It gives India a huge advantage.
And we can't forget that it can also be used to support 4G and 5G networks.
Right, it's not just a military tool.
It's got civilian applications too.
Exactly. It shows how these technologies can be used for a variety of different purposes.
So it's a multi-purpose platform.
Very much so.
Okay, but let's bring it back to the military context for a second.
Okay, back to the war zone.
How does this CATS Infinity fit into this whole CATS concept?
Well, it's a vital part of the system.
Okay, how so?
It provides situational awareness for the entire network.
So it's like the big picture guy.
Exactly. It sees everything that's going on and feeds that information back to the mothership and the other drones.
So it's like the central nervous system of the whole operation.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so we've got all these amazing pieces.
The stealth fighter, the swarm drones, the pseudo-satellite. It's an impressive lineup.
But how do they all actually work together? Like, how do you make sure they don't crash into each other? How do you make sure they're hitting the right targets?
That's where things get really complicated.
I bet. It seems like there are so many moving parts.
There are. It's incredibly complex.
Well, how do they make it work?
Well, it all comes down to software.
Ah, software, the magic ingredient.
Exactly. The code that tells all these drones what to do, how to fly, how to fight.
So we're talking algorithms, AI, that kind of stuff.
The HALCATS program relies heavily on artificial intelligence to manage and control these unmanned systems.
AI. Now that's where we're really getting into the future of warfare.
We are. This is cutting-edge stuff.
Drones that can make decisions on their own. That's a little scary, but also pretty fascinating.
It is. It's a brave new world.
So walk me through how this AI actually works within the KIDS program.
Okay, so imagine a typical CATS mission.
Right, I'm imagining it.
You've got the TASE fighter jet, that's the mothership, and it's acting as the command center.
Okay, got it.
It's got a couple of CATS warriors flying alongside, a swarm of Alpha-S drones tucked away in those pods, and the CATS Infinity is up above, watching everything.
So they're all linked together.
Right. They're all talking to each other through a secure communication network.
They're constantly sharing information?
Constantly, yeah. They're sharing data, sensor readings,
Right.
position information, everything.
So the pilot in the Tejas is like the conductor of an orchestra.
That's a great way to think about it.
And the AI is the sheet music, guiding the performance.
But the AI is doing more than just providing instructions.
Oh, what else is it doing?
It's analyzing all that data, assessing the situation, making recommendations to the pilots.
So it's like a super-powered co-pilot.
Exactly. It's helping the pilot make the best decisions in the heat of battle.
But the human is still in control, right?
That's right. The human pilot is still the ultimate decision maker.
Okay, that's good to know.
It's about augmenting human capabilities, not replacing them.
So it's a partnership, a collaboration.
Exactly. Humans and machines working together.
This is incredible. We've gone from talking about a shortage of squadrons to a system that can turn a single fighter jet into a mini air force.
It's a revolution in air combat.
It really is. But let's step back from the future for a moment and talk about how far along HAL is in developing all of this.
All right, let's get down to brass tacks.
Are these systems actually close to being deployed?
That's the million-dollar question, and is one we'll be exploring in more detail next.
Welcome back to our deep dive.
Glad to be back.
We've been talking about India's incredible CATS program.
Yeah, some seriously cool tech.
And right before the break, we were just starting to get into how far along HAL actually is with developing all this.
They're definitely not messing around, that's for sure.
It's clear they're not just playing around in a lab somewhere.
No, they're serious about this.
They've already done some pretty impressive demonstrations.
Oh yeah, they've shown they can make this stuff work.
But the question everyone wants to know,
When's it coming out?
when can we expect to see this deployed in a real-world situation?
Right, when's it going to actually be out there on the front lines?
Well, from everything we've gathered,
Yeah.
it seems like HAL's aiming to have the entire CAT system ready to go by 2025.
That's ambitious,
It is. It's a tight timeline.
but they seem to be on track.
Remember that engine ground run of the CATS Warrior we talked about?
Oh yeah, that was a big deal.
That was a huge step forward, a sign that they're making real progress.
They're not just talking about it, they're actually building it.
And apparently they're planning to show off the actual CATS Warrior drone at Aero India 2025.
That's going to be pretty cool to see.
It's going to be amazing seeing it up close and personal. So it feels like things are really moving quickly with this program.
Oh yeah, they're moving fast.
But this kind of technology, integrating all these different systems, it must come with some pretty big challenges.
It does. There are definitely some hurdles they have to overcome.
What are some of the biggest ones?
Well, one of the toughest things is making sure all these different systems can actually work together smoothly.
Right, because it's not just about building individual drones.
It's about making them all play nice together
They need to communicate effectively, share data without any problems.
and operate as a single unit, like a well-oiled machine.
It's like a really complex dance
A very intricate dance with lots of moving parts.
where each platform has to play its role in perfect harmony.
And one wrong step can mess up the whole routine.
And then you've got to make sure these unmanned systems are reliable.
Right, they can't just break down in the middle of a mission.
They need to be able to handle tough environments
Enemy countermeasures.
and perform their missions with pinpoint accuracy.
There's no room for error in combat,
No, not at all.
especially not when lives are on the line.
And, we've been focusing on India here,
Right.
but we can't ignore the bigger picture.
The global implications.
India is not the only country investing in unmanned systems.
Not even close.
This is becoming like the new arms race.
It's the next frontier in military tech,
Everyone wants to be ahead of the curve.
and nobody wants to be left behind.
So where does India stand in all of this?
Are they leading the pack, or are they catching up?
That's a good question. Where do they fit in?
It's a bit of both, actually.
Really?
Yeah, they have a really impressive history of aerospace innovation,
Oh, yeah. They've been doing this for a long time.
and they've made some amazing progress with unmanned systems.
But other countries have been at it for a while, too.
Yeah, the US, China, Russia, they're all investing heavily in this tech.
So it's a pretty competitive field right now.
Oh yeah, everyone's trying to get an edge,
So it's like this high-stakes chess game.
with each move having global consequences.
And the pieces are these incredible new technologies.
It's a fascinating time to be watching all this unfold.
But what does it all mean for the future of air combat?
The big question, right?
Are we headed towards a world where drone battles are the norm?
And human pilots are just a memory.
It's a pretty unsettling thought.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's a possibility we have to consider.
There's no doubt that unmanned systems are getting more and more advanced.
They're evolving at an incredible pace.
And they offer a lot of advantages, you know?
They're cheaper to operate than manned aircraft.
You can send them on missions that would be too dangerous for a human.
And they can operate with a level of precision and endurance that we can only dream of.
So it's easy to see why everyone's so interested in this technology.
It's the future, or at least a big part of it.
But does that mean human pilots are becoming obsolete?
Well, that's the debate, isn't it?
I mean, is the future of air combat just going to be about algorithms and robots fighting each other?
It's a scary thought.
It is, but it's a possibility.
It is, but it's not a foregone conclusion.
Okay, so there's still hope for us humans.
There is. Because even with all the advancements, unmanned systems still have limitations.
Okay, what kind of limitations?
Well, they rely heavily on software, right?
Right, the code that tells them what to do.
And that software can be vulnerable
Vulnerable to what?
to hacking, to jamming, to electronic warfare.
Ah, so they're not invincible.
No, they have their weaknesses.
And they might not be able to handle those really unpredictable situations, you know,
Right, when things get chaotic
where you need to make split-second decisions.
and adapt to constantly changing circumstances.
That's where humans still have the edge.
For now, at least.
So it's not just going to be robots ruling the skies.
Not yet, anyway.
Like, that's a relief.
It's more likely that we'll see a combination of manned and unmanned systems working together.
So the best of both worlds.
Exactly, combining the strengths of humans and machines.
That makes a lot more sense.
It does. It's a more balanced approach,
So it's not about replacing human pilots. It's about giving them new tools
making them even more effective.
and using these unmanned systems to enhance their capabilities.
Exactly. It's about teamwork
Humans and machines working together.
to create a more powerful and adaptable fighting force.
This has been a pretty amazing deep dive.
It has. We've covered a lot of ground.
We've gone from talking about a shortage of fighter squadrons in India,
To the intricacies of drone technology and artificial intelligence.
and we've even touched on the philosophical implications of all this.
It's a lot to think about.
It really is. But one thing's for sure,
What's that?
we're entering a whole new era of air combat.
And it's going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out.
Absolutely. And as we mentioned earlier, HAL is planning to unveil the CATS Warrior drone at Aero India 2025.
Yeah, that's going to be a big event.
That'll be a major milestone for the program.
A chance for the world to see what India's been working on.
And it'll definitely spark even more debate about the role of an unmanned systems in warfare.
And the ethical questions that come with them.
So this is just the beginning of the conversation.
It's an ongoing discussion.
And it's a conversation that we all need to be a part of.
We can't just ignore it.
To stay informed, stay engaged, and stay curious.
The future is being written right now.
And we're all playing a part in shaping it.
So let's make sure we're shaping it for the better.
Well said. And on that note, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future of air combat.
It's been a pleasure exploring this with you.
We hope you found it as insightful as we did.
And maybe even a little bit mind-blowing.
Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep exploring.
And we'll see you on the next deep dive.